think you've seen it all.
Something is said.
Elon Musk.
What's actually happening?
Something is happening.
Historic transparency.
Something in our city.
Law and order back to
Something in our country.
What is happening in our country?
Something in our world.
A lot of good things toward peace are happening.
Check in all day.
All day long.
It's always something.
Listen to your radio station.
News Radio 105.5 WERC.
The following is a paid program. The opinions expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of WERC, management, employees, or advertisers.
He's a tough street-fighting lawyer with the highest ratings for honesty and integrity. He's here for you every Saturday morning to answer your legal questions and get you the help you need. You're listening to The Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's lawyer, Joe Ingram of Ingram Law, live from the studios of News Radio 105.5 WERC. Call in now, 439-9372. That's 439-9372, and ask Joe your legal question, or email the show at questions@joeingramlaw.com. Joe Ingram has more than 20 years experience fighting for his clients here in the state of Alabama. Joe's focus is criminal defense and family law. You don't have to face your legal issue alone. You've got Joe Ingram, Birmingham's lawyer, on your side. In case of sensitive legal matters, you can always reach out directly to Joe at joeingramlaw.com and arrange for a private consultation. And now, Birmingham's defender of the defenseless, protector of the people, and all-around good guy, Joe Ingram.
All right. It's Saturday morning, 6:06 a.m. This is Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram, road running, street lawyer, here for you in Birmingham, just off the campus of UAB, Regents Barronfield. The news today is the weather. And in 2012, April, 2011, thank you. It's off a year, getting old. That was bad that day. That was bad. Me and my wife and our two dogs had to go to the Embassy Suites in Homewood. It was full. It was crazy. It was unreal what happened that day. Tuscaloosa was wiped off the map. It was unreal what happened that day. I hope that doesn't happen today. I hope they're wrong, but I think everybody's prepared, locked down. Everybody's closed today by noon, from what I hear. Anyway, enough of that. We're following the weather here. That's the story of the day. This is Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram, Birmingham's lawyer on the South Side. Today, we're going to talk about some divorce statistics nationally, statewide. We're going to talk about some criminal statistics nationally, statewide. This show is broadcast on Saturday morning on iHeartRadio, also on my podcast, The Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram. This show is caller-driven in mind. We ask you to have a cup of coffee. Give us a call. Talk to us, 205-439-9372, 205-439-WERC. If you have a personal question, you can call my office next week, 205-506-5590. You can speak with Intake. You can speak with Holly or our new mystery person that starts this week. Interesting week. Some interesting news on the divorce scene nationally and criminally. P. Diddy's in the news again this week. His trial's fixing to start up. That's going to be fun to watch. We'll talk about that. So if you're having a cup of coffee, you can also email the show, questions@joeingramlaw.com, questions@joeingramlaw.com. My office handles divorce and criminal cases from Huntsville, Birmingham, Montgomery, Tuscaloosa, Mobile, and Dothan area. And yes, I had a case down in Houston County. It got moved to Coffee County on the day of court 2 weeks ago at 2 a.m. in the morning. That's great. Not going to Houston County, going to Coffee County now. That's going to be entertaining. Anyway, so if you have a divorce case, we do not promote divorce. We love marriages to stay together, but folks, it's a statistic in this state: 35 to 50% of all marriages end in divorce. And the second divorce, the divorce rate goes up. And if you get to the third divorce, it's even higher. After 3 divorces, you might want to just give it up. Ben, Jen, don't get married again. Have separate houses, raise the kiddies. You know what I mean? You can have friends, you can have family. You just don't need to live together. You've been there, done that. I don't know. Another day, another story. Bang's in the house, and he's laughing. Bang's, this is his last week with us. Yeah, he's excited about that. He's having his cotton candy. There it is. Bang. Okay. Did you finish the case? You finished the case already? Oh, that was weeks ago. Okay. Anyway, another day, another story. Okay. So if you have a question, call the show, 205-439-9372, 205-439-WERC. We may have a mystery caller on the second hour. And we'll talk about that when we get there. And we're following the news. Looks like we may escape it today. The first round we missed. Is that right? Close, yeah. When I was coming over the hill, over 65, kept seeing some flashes of thunder and lightning, but just a couple sprinkles on the windshield. But anyway, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about divorce statistics in the state of Alabama. I found all this quite fascinating. And you're going to love this, folks. In Alabama, 1990, the divorce rate was 6% in the state per 1,000 people. In 2022, which is the most recent statistics, our divorce rate is down to 3.2%, which is the 16th highest in the country. If you're in Alabama, you got a 50-50 chance of getting a divorce. Go figure. Can you imagine which county has the highest divorce rate in the state of Alabama? No, it's not Birmingham. Just a little bit north of here, Winston County, just above Walker County. And I got to thinking, why would Winston County have such a high divorce rate? 15.3% of the population in Winston County get a divorce. Now, Winston is a rural country county, right? Lower middle class, lower income, I would say. Now, there's a lot of land there. There's not a lot of industry. There's not a lot of jobs there. Most people that live there travel to other counties to work. There's a lot of drugs in Winston County. There's a lot of drug cases out of Winston County. 15.3% of the population get a divorce. Interesting. That's a pretty high number. I found that funny, kind of interesting. Didn't know that. Oh, and if you do divorce cases out of Winston County, here's how you get your fee. You end up taking the family land. I've done that a couple of times. When the case is over, I own the property. I'm like George Washington. I'm one of the largest landowners in Winston County. You just take their property. Bang's over there laughing. If they can't pay the fee, you take their land. I'm like George Washington. Anyway, and Alabama, which is kind of sad, the average median household income in Alabama is just over $53,000. Now, that would be for a family of 4. You can't live on that. One can't live on $53,000 with the way inflation is. Rent in Birmingham is easily, $1,500, $2,000 a month for a 1 to 2 bedroom apartment. I know in Vestavia, apartments are $2,000 a month for a 2 bedroom apartment. I don't know what they are here on the south side. Pretty equivalent? Yeah. Okay. So if you gross $53,000 and you're in the 12% tax bracket, which most people are if you make $53,000, when you get to your net and your take home and you pay your your rent, your food, your groceries, your gas, your paycheck to paycheck. That's for one person. And if you had 2 children to feed and you had daycare, daycare for an infant, I'm told the first year is like $900 a month for childcare. That's $9,000 a year. Now you get all that back on your taxes as a deduction, but you got to front the money. You know what I'm saying? So you're barely living. Also take into account when you look at the median income, they take the highest income, they take the lowest, it's an average. So in my practice, most people easily today make at least $100,000 if the husband and wife work and they have decent jobs. $100,000 is nothing now. That is unreal to say. 20 years ago, if you made $100,000, you were doing well in Alabama. If you have a family of 4 now, if you're not making $100,000, I don't know how you make it. I'm not kidding. Anyway, just some statistics to think about. Oh, hey, gray divorce. You ever heard that term? Bang's going, no, I don't know what that means. Gray divorce. They determine that as people 50 and older getting a divorce. I don't think if you're 50, you necessarily have gray hair. Somebody told me yesterday I was 70. Bang. Do I look 70? I said, you may get fired by 5 o'clock. I said, I look 70 years old to you. Are you kidding me? I said, I'm better health than people in their 30s. I run 40 miles a week. You may get a pink notice by 5. They look kind of scared. Anyway, gray divorces. It happens more than you realize. Here's what happens. You get married. Marry your high school sweetheart. Marry your college sweetheart. The American dream. You want the house, the white picket fence. You want a wife, husband, 2 kids, dog, cat, 2 cars in the garage. You think that's the American dream, right? Or it was 20, 30 years ago. You spend so much time raising the children. You get them through toddler years. You get them into first grade, kindergarten, get them into middle school, extracurricular activities. Girls, volleyball, cheerleading, gymnastics. Boys, football, little league, basketball, baseball, travel ball. Travel ball's huge. Travel ball's expensive for anything. You have to travel the countryside every weekend after you've worked all week. Then the kids get to high school. Everybody has a cell phone. Everybody has a cell phone. 9th graders, 8th graders have cell phones in the classroom. I'm told we're getting better about making them turn their phones off and putting them up at the beginning of the day, which is a good thing. How can you concentrate in a classroom if everybody's looking at their iPhone or their Android? I don't know. A teenager does not want to be with their parents. That's the last person they want to be seen with. They're embarrassed of their parents. They think, what do you know? Well, I did all this before you were born. I know all the secrets. I know all the trades. I know everything you're doing. But you don't want to be around your parents. You want to hang out with your friends because those are your peers. Those are the voices in your ears. Is that right? You can't make teenagers go to visitation with mom or dad on the weekends. They don't want to hang out with mom and dad. They want to hang out with their peer group, their friends, their family. Well, not their family, their friends. Everybody that they talk to. And here's a new thing. Kids today, they don't want to talk on the phone. They don't even want to email. They just want to text you. Is that true? Y'all are younger than me. Pick up the phone. Speak to me. I'm a human being. Nobody has a landline. We still have a landline. We call it the red line, the bat line. The 911 line. We have a problem line. We have a landline in our house. It's kind of like the president's desk. There's a red phone. If you answer the red phone, there's a problem. Anyway, but you don't have a landline. You don't have a red. See, nobody has a landline. You still need a landline. Pretty cheap. Anyway, something to think about there. But grade divorces. So you raise the kids. You spend all your times devoted on the children, extracurricular activities, school, making them the best that they can be, and you lose each other. You don't even speak to each other. You both work 8 to 5. You're getting them ready at night for the next day for school. You probably don't even sit down at a table at night and have dinner together. Or if you do, you're looking at the phone. Isn't that true? In a lot of houses? We have a rule. When we sit down, we turn the phone over, we turn it off. We speak. How was your day? What did you do today? What was interesting today? The way I grew up. What'd you learn today in school? What'd you learn today at work? Did you learn anything? Because if you didn't, you're going backwards. And then you get the kids ready for bed by 9 o'clock, hopefully, if they're elementary, getting into middle school, and they don't do it. They say they're going to bed. They get in their room. They get on their cell phones. They do what they got to do. The other day, another story. And then you get up and you do it again the next day. And you do that again and again and again and again and again. We started this show in December. It's almost the end of March. Can you believe that? Seems like the other day we started. And so you do that. And then they graduate high school 17 years later. And then you wake up one day and you realize, I don't know you. You're my spouse. Who are you and who am I? I've lost you and I've lost me because we raised 1 or 2 children to be better than us. You're supposed to date your spouse. You're supposed to have a date night. Connect. Date your spouse. Always date your spouse. Stay in connection with your spouse. Check in with them. Once a week, once a month. Go away. Have conversations. Talk to each other about when you dated, how you courted, why you picked that person. Why did you pick that person as your spouse? What did you see in them? Did you see their family that you didn't have, that you wanted, that they had a better family than you? It's true. A lot of guys, the woman they pick, they see their mother in their spouse. It's psychological. Girls, females, see their father in the men they pick. Something to think about. Interesting. M's over there looking at me thinking, you disagree? She agrees. Isn't that weird? And I'm not getting anything like incestual or anything like that. I'm just saying you see something in that person you pick that you want for a future. Maybe it's safety. Maybe it is, hey, my father worked all of his life to raise our family. This man looks like a good provider. He's going to be a good husband, might be a good father. And so you pick that person. Does any of this make sense? Or y'all both look at me like I've lost my mind? But, okay, I got 2 thumbs up in the room. And both of you are 2 generations younger than me. So see how interesting this is? Grade divorce. So here's what it's about. You've raised the kids. You've got them off to college. And now you move them to college. When I went to college, I took a suitcase and I drove away in a car. Now it's an event. The whole family packs up. They go buy furniture, towels, sheets, monogram stuff. They decorate the room. You've seen all this. You know what I'm talking about. At Alabama, to get in a sorority, There's all these TikTok videos on how to get in an Alabama sorority. There's these girls, and I'm not knocking it. You know what I'm talking about. They talk about what they wear to a sorority mixer to get picked to be in their sorority. What are we doing? What are we living in? Why are you in college? Are you in college to be in a sorority? Or are you in college for an education? Another day, another story. But here's what happened. Hey, I don't know my children. I don't know my spouse. I'm going to go find me. And that's a gray divorce. Sad. I've done a couple divorces that people are already in their 60s and 70s. And you think, why should I do this now? I've lived 2/3 of my adult life with you. Why change now? One lady said, my husband has dementia. Mr. Ingram, he tried to set the house on fire. He poured gas around the house and he tried to kill me. And I've got to have him committed, and I don't want to do it, but I don't want to die. That was one of the saddest divorces I ever did. And I said, I'm sorry. And she said, I'm sorry too, because my husband doesn't know his name. We had to have him civilly committed to a mental institution. And then she had to leave the man that was her husband, the father of her children, and maybe never see him again. And then there are those that you live with your spouse, abusive a spouse, physical, mental, verbal abuse spouse. You hate your spouse. The children are grown. You stayed for the children. And you say, done. I'm going to live the rest of my life free. Those people are happy. They walk in. They can't sign the papers fast enough. Where are the papers? Sign them. Get out. And they're smiling on the way out the door. I mean, they're dancing in the parking lot. I'm free. I'm free. I'm free. I'm gone. I'm out of here. Bye. I'm going on a vacation. I'm going on a cruise. I had one person last year, when they got the divorce papers, they had a party. Have you heard about this? Females that get a divorce, they'll have like a weekend party, like going to Vegas to celebrate the divorce. That's a new one. She said, I'll call you in 3 days when I sober up. Okay. She's pretty happy. She said, I'm free. Time goes by fast. You only live once, last time I checked. How we doing on weather? We good? Nothing happening. Y'all watching the weather. 6:27 on Saturday morning. This is a Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram on the South Side. 205-439-9372. 205-439-WERC. You can email the show at questions@joeingramlaw.com, questions@joeingramlaw.com. And that's just a little bit about divorces. I don't promote divorce. Sometimes it's necessary in society because people make bad decisions and then they decide to get out of them. Oh, thank you. Thank you. We're getting close to the break. So that's something to think about. When we come back, this is the teaser, guys. We're going to talk about some national divorce news. We're going to talk about the guy from Ghost. His wife tried to kill him. Oh, I have one of those, bang, in another county right now. I'm not kidding. He built a wonderful company. About to get a divorce. His wife's trying to kill him. We're going to talk about that after the break. It's 6:29. Have a cup of coffee. Legal Lowdown. Joe Ingram. Come back. Thanks. Bye.
You're listening to The Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's lawyer, Joe Ingram. If you need confidential legal help off air, reach out to Joe at joeingramlaw.com. Stay tuned for more. Joe will be right back after this break for news and weather on News Radio 105.5 WERC.
Thank you for taking my call.
People complaining. I don't want the $5,000 about Musk not being elected.
Ammo for arguments.
We voted for this to happen. A lot of politicians are going to be in trouble.
Or weapons of mass discussion.
It's just a comment. They banked on Trump never getting back into office.
You're made to look like a racist. There's something wrong with you. Our country is broke to broke.
The discourse is yours to join.
The Fox isn't watching the hen house anymore.
On News Radio 105.5 WERC.
The entire state is under a state of emergency, including a Level 5 severe weather alert. Angie Norvell reports.
The last time we had a Level 5 risk for severe weather was in 2021. Significant tornado threat for the state, all 67 counties under the state of emergency. Timing of the storms from meteorologist Tania Mitchell with WBRC, who says a round of storms overnight leads to another.
Round number 2, just around lunchtime, another round of storms starts to move ahead of that main line, and that's going to continue through your afternoon and evening, and then should be out of here just around midnight and possibly into early Sunday morning.
Keep it right here for the latest on severe weather in Alabama. I'm Angie Norvell.
Alabama Power says it's all hands on deck for severe weather. Linemen will not go out at the height of storms, but once it's over, they'll be out in full force to look at damages and restore power. I'm Charlie O'Brien, and this is Birmingham's news, traffic, and weather station, News Radio 105.5 WERC.
It's a First Alert Weather Day. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt keeping a close watch on the radar. Stay weather alert today. We have a risk for severe storms this morning, in the afternoon, especially in this evening. Could see some damaging winds. A significant threat for tornadoes could develop, so stay weather alert. Overnight, we'll see all this move out with lows in the 50s. Big improvements tomorrow. Sunshine returns with highs in the 60s. I'm WBRC First Alert Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt on your side.
Right now, it's 66 degrees at Birmingham's news, traffic, and weather station, News Radio 105.5 WERC.
News Radio 105.5 WERC. Make us the #1 preset on your car radio and on the free new and improved iHeartRadio app. Listen for all your music, radio, and podcasts. Free never sounded so good.
You're listening to The Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's lawyer, Joe Ingram. Joe is a 20-year veteran of the Alabama courts, specializing in criminal defense and family law. Call in live with your questions now at 439-9372. That's 439-9372. Or write Joe with your question for the show at questions@joeingramlaw.com. If you need a private legal consultation, email Joe at joeingramlaw.com. Now, welcome back to The Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram.
All right. 6:33, Saturday morning. Weather is a story. We're watching the weather. And we're also watching some brush fire on Lakeshore Parkway. What is that? Where is that? 5 to 6 acres, Lakeshore Parkway. You recognize that?
I believe that's Homewood, Lakeshore Parkway. I'm going to double check that really quick, though.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. It's 7:30 in New York, London, 11:30, Paris, 12:30, Beijing, President Xi, 7:30, Tokyo, Wagyu beef. You ever had Wagyu beef? No, you haven't. You got to have it. Tokyo is 8:30. Anyway, we've been talking about divorce statistics, and we got through the first segment, and it was so easy to do that. It was also sad to do it. Don't take any great joy in it, but you have to talk about it. Let's talk about some little celebrity divorce news right now. There is a actor, Aaron Goodwin, filed for divorce yesterday in Las Vegas. He is on a show called Ghost Adventures. I'm not familiar with this because I don't get to watch TV anymore. You know this? She doesn't know it either. Filed for divorce. His wife hired a hitman to kill him. This has happened a couple times. Are you ever heard those stories? No. Try to poison your spouse. Hire a hitman to kill your spouse. You ever see the movie War of the Roses? You're too young. War of the Roses. It's a divorce movie. Michael Douglas, Danny DeVito. He's a lawyer. He goes to Harvard. They built this dream home. Beautiful dream. I mean, they rebuilt this house. It's a palace. Honest to goodness, it's a mansion. And one day the children are grown, and she despises him because he's a narcissist. It's all about him. And she builds a Martha Stewart industry of being a chef to their friends and family, their clientele. And she says, I can go do this now. I don't even need your money. I just want out. And I want my house. And he said, we'll fight over the house. And guess what? They kill each other over the house. And at the end of the movie, they're hanging in a chandelier in the foyer of this palace. Honest to goodness, she had unscrewed the bolts that hold the chandelier in the foyer, and they're both hanging from the chandelier at the end of the movie, and it falls to the marble tile floor in the foyer, and they die at the end of the movie. War of the Roses. You need to go watch this. That is a serious divorce. There are other women. There are other men. There are other houses. And he could have replaced it all. I'm not fighting anybody over a house. I'm not fighting anybody over a spoon. That's how bad divorce can be. She's shaking her head going, no, no, no. Anyway, War of the Roses. Anyway, she hired a hitman to kill him. And I guess you got to go when your wife's trying to kill you. Oh, by the way, I have a case this week so similar to this. The spouse has tried to poison the other spouse in a county south of here. My investigators, Spy for Rent, Jeff and Corey, they got you covered. They're working this case. We had to do bug sweeps this week of the house and the cars. We're also doing a complete investigation on all the records, books and records. They have 3 properties, 3 companies. It's unreal what this divorce case is about. Man, scary. The man says, I sleep in the living room on the floor on a mat in case someone fires through the house. Maybe they won't get a headshot off. That is unreal. We had to put cameras up around the house and the property in case somebody does a drive-by. Not making this up. Unreal. Spy for Rent. If you need an investigator, Jeff, Corey, they got you covered. So that's one divorce case. Another divorce case. Do you know who Kim Zolciak? You know that name? You're younger than me. You're supposed to know these people. Getting a divorce from Croy Bierman? She's over looking it up. Don't know who those people are. Anyway, she says, I'm done dating a man. You reckon that's her? I don't either. So anyway, another divorce case. Jax Taylor. Oh, you know that name. Okay. Served divorce docs. So that's another divorce case in the news this week. Emily Osment. You know her? You think you know. Disney? Okay. I'm not watching Disney. She's out dog walking with big bro Haley Joel after a quickie divorce. Go figure. Anyway, it's enough to go through a divorce. Why do people follow you around with a camera? What are you going to see? See that they're sad, they're depressed. When you get a divorce, it goes two ways. You're either really happy you sign them, or it's the worst day of your life. If you spend 7, 8, 10 years with somebody, day in, day out, go to bed, work, split the bills, family, all this, and then you sign a piece of paper and it says, we go our separate ways. When you see your name on that piece of paper and you sign it, that's a sad day. Yeah. Anyway, something to think about there. Jessica Alba. She recently got a divorce. She's happy. She's in London living the dream at a fashion show. She just got a new tattoo. Got some new artwork. Forearm. Looks like a heartbeat with some, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I don't know why people do that, but that's what they do now. She looks happy. Jessica Alba. And then there was one other one that I found interesting. Rebecca, we talked about her a couple weeks ago before you here. Rebecca Gayheart and Eric Dane. They were getting a divorce. They've been married since 18. She's called off the divorce. Grey's Anatomy, Euphoria star. I know what Grey's Anatomy is. I'm not familiar with Euphoria. I'm not sure what that is. Anyway, they have children. She said, we're going to try again. They called off the divorce. And it looks like they have young children, and it shows them at Target, and that might be why she decided to do that, stay for the children. Oh, and we talked about Ben and Jen again. The consensus in the room appears to be that Jennifer Garner would like to co-parent with Ben Affleck for the best interest of the children. Not to get back together with Ben, but for her children. Jennifer Garner is America's sweetheart. She does the Capital One commercials. What's in your wallet? You know that commercial? Yeah, you knew that commercial. And her dad does that commercial too. She made him a celebrity out of it. I think the consensus in the room is that they're going to try to raise the children, but I'm not sure Jen wants to do that again. What's the old story? Burn me once, shame on me. Burn me twice, shame on you. Burn me 3 times. What happens after the 3rd time? I don't know. 4th time? That's lost cause. That's something to think about. Do you know a basketball player named Malik Beasley files for separation from his spouse or her spouse? Basketball players, NBA players, this is pretty well known. Basketball players make so much money because they only play like an 82-game season. Back in the day, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, all these gentlemen, they would have women in every city. It was just known. Because you travel, from October to June. And so you just have women all over the countryside. Something to think about. Okay, let's talk a little bit about children, custody. What's important? What's not important? What judges want to hear? How do you get custody? Is it true that men can't get custody in Alabama? These are all things to think about. How does a court decide custody of a child? What is in the best interest of a child? Simple description. Both parents need to be involved in the lives of the children. Plain and simple. What should you tell a judge? Key issues. Focus on the factor of the child or the children, such as stability, safety, meeting the needs of the child. Avoid making accusations attacking your former spouse if you're divorced. What happens when you go to your dad's house? Does your dad feed you? Does your dad clothe you? Does your dad go get takeout every night? Does his girlfriend raise you? Does his girlfriend bathe you? If they're young children, is the new boyfriend or girlfriend spending the night when you're there? Because most divorce decrees say you can't have overnight guests when the children are present, because would you want to wake up one day at mom or dad's house on the weekend and another person's in the bedroom with mom or dad and you go, who is this person? It's confusing to children. Been there, done that in 1982. My parents got a divorce, 12 years old. My dad picked me up on a Friday afternoon. There was another woman in the car. This is my new spouse. Never met her. And by the way, this is her daughter. And she called him Dad. My dad. Why does she call you Dad? Another time, another story. Half sibling. Go figure. My dad never would answer that question. He couldn't look me in the face and answer that question. And I go home and you see another woman living with your father, sleeping in the bedroom. It's hard to process at 10 or 12 years old. Because you just don't want to see that. Does that make sense? It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Anyway. So don't attack your ex-spouse. Don't alienate your children against the former spouse. You have a father. He's a good father. He's a good provider. You have a mother. She's a good mother. She's a good provider. She cares for you. She loves you. We both love you. We want what's best for you. It's not about us. It's about you. We all agree on that. Consider the age and the sex of the child. I disagree with that. Just because I'm a man, does that mean I can't raise a young female daughter? No. If I am a woman, now this is a no-brainer. This goes back to Joseph and Mary in the Bible. If I'm a woman, does that mean I can't raise a boy because he's a male and I'm a female? Absolutely not. That doesn't make sense. So I disagree that age and sex of the child matters. Both people are equally, today's society, can be a parent. Lang's over there shaking his head, so must be doing some good. Do not disparage the other spouse. That's a given. Do not use your children as leverage in a custody case. I've seen this many times. Hey, Mom, when I go to Dad's house, he has cool toys. He bought me a trampoline. He bought me a four-wheeler. We go to the pool. He put in a pool. And Mom's struggling. This is a fact of life. Men make more than women, generally in society, unless you have professional degrees. This is a fact, too. After a divorce, men's income always goes up. Women's income generally goes down because they're raising the children, right? And you make sacrifices for your children, right? You're going to do anything for your children. And so dad can go on with his life. And now I represent a lot of men, don't get me wrong. And so that's what you face. Dad has all the cool toys. Dad looks like the father of the year. You want to go to dad's house because he doesn't see you all week. It's playtime at dad's house. And when they get to be a teenager, I want to go live with dad because dad doesn't check my grades. Dad doesn't check my schoolwork. Dad doesn't care what I do. I have all fun with dad. Mom's the disciplinarian. Mom makes me go to school. Mom makes me take a bath at night. Mom checks my homework. Mom makes me go to the doctor. Mom checks my cell phone. Mom becomes the bad parent. And I'm a man, and I'm sitting here and arguing for mom. See how confusing this is? These are tough choices, aren't they? The two toughest battles in this world, custody case and a criminal case for your freedom. That is the two greatest fights in a courtroom. You agree? You're not a lawyer, but you agree. You see that. Yeah. Okay. Oh, communication. People do not know how to communicate anymore. 1967, I did this a couple weeks ago. Bang looked at me like I was crazy. There's a movie called Cool Hand Luke, Paul Newman. Em, you know who Paul Newman is? No. Hello. He has salad dressings in the grocery aisle. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Paul Newman. Go figure. He was a sex symbol, Em, in the 60s and the 70s in Hollywood. Paul Newman was the greatest. Cool Hand Luke. What we have here is a failure to communicate. That's the line. Communication. You can't communicate with your spouse or your ex-spouse. I tell my clients, do not text your ex-spouse. Keep a running email chain. I hate text messages. I don't let my clients text me. I said, do not text me. I will not text you. It protects you. It protects me. If you want to converse with me, you email me. We keep it. And I'll email you. Or you can call us. We'll pick up the phone. Do not text me. I don't want anybody to text me. Unless it's an emergency, 911. Now, if you were to text me and say, Joe, hey, we ain't doing the show today, 9/11 fire, don't show up, studio blew up. Okay. Don't text me. I don't like that. It's just an age gap. Inappropriate communication. Folks, please don't go out on social media and disparage your spouse or your ex-spouse during a custody case. When the kids were me, this is how our house looks. When the kids are with the other spouse, this is how their house looks. Bad look. It's out there for the world to see. Screenshot it. It becomes Exhibit 1 in a custody case. See? How easy this is. It's harmful for the children. Do not violate court orders. If the judge says you only get the first, third, and the 15th, the first, third, and the fifth weekend of the month, please do not show up on a Tuesday night and say, I'm here to get my children. They have school. They have extracurricular activities. You'd be surprised how many times that happens. Follow the court order. Simple. Don't violate the court order. Oh, and if you have children on the weekends, I've had this too. Young children need to be home by a reasonable hour. What time should elementary school children be in bed by? 8, 9 o'clock, you think? Because they need more sleep. Please don't bring the children home at 11 or midnight. I've seen that. How can a child get home at midnight and have to get up at 6 in the morning to be at school by 7 or 7:30 and be rested in elementary school? I don't know. These are simple things, aren't they? Bangs over there going, yeah, Joe, this is all simple. Why are you telling us this? But it's good information. Anyway, that's something to think about. Oh, do not withhold visitation. Hey, haven't heard from you all week. You're not going to see your children this weekend. You can't do that. Oh, you didn't pay child support this month. You can't have visitation. Those are two separate issues. You cannot let the other parents see the children because they didn't pay their child support. That's not fair. Makes sense, doesn't it? All this makes sense. You're sitting here thinking, does this really happen? Yeah, these fights happen every day over this crap. Oh, we're going to break again. Thank you, Em. We've done the first hour, and all we've done is talk about some basic divorce statistics and basic divorce things in a custody case. When you come back, we'll talk about some more about divorce issues, and then we'll get into some criminal issues, and we may have a mystery caller. These are all good things to talk about. 656 WERC 205-439-9372 205-439 WERC. This is Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram. You can check us out at joeingramlaw.com, or you can call the office 205-506-5590. You can talk to Intake or Holly. We'll get you in. We'll be back after news and weather in the break, and hopefully the fire on Lakeshore will be out. We'll be back. Thanks. Bye.
There's another hour of the Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's lawyer, Joe Ingram, heading your way. You can ask your question live on the air at 439-9372. That's 439-9372. Or send Joe your question for air via email at questions@ingramlaw.com. If you need a private legal consultation, contact Joe directly at joeingramlaw.com. Stand by for more of the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram right after news and weather on News Radio 105.5 WERC.
The proceeding has been a paid program. The opinions expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of WERC, management, employees, or advertisers.
They say someone's always watching, listening, waiting. But what if it's your business they're watching? Your private conversations they're listening to? Your secrets they're stealing? Corporate espionage is real. Fraud is real. Data breaches cost businesses millions, sometimes before they even know what's happening. That's where we come in at spyforrent.com. We don't just find the problem, we stop it. Counter surveillance, forensic accounting, deep background checks, bug sweeps. Our team of experts has decades of experience in intelligence and security. We use state-of-the-art technology to protect your business. Your peace of mind is our priority. Your security is our mission. When you work with us, you're in safe hands. Protect your business before it's too late. If you suspect something, you're probably right. It starts with your free consultation. Find us at spyforrent.com. Because if you don't know who's watching, they already have the advantage.
What's happening?
Democrats angry at Schumer.
On News Radio 105.5.
President Trump would like to pull us into the mud.
Huge slap in the face
Of a government shutdown.
Check in each hour.
Federal judge rules.
Thousands should get jobs back.
I'm sure he's a genius.
The E in Doge is not elimination.
That does not put him above the law.
Hear the very latest.
And to see whether or not Russia's there. Putin has issues with ceasefire.
The day's news is on.
If they're not, it'll be a very disappointing moment for the world.
News Radio 105.5 WERC.
Dixie Sod Farm. Fresh cut zoysia and Bermuda grass delivered statewide. Call 205-338-3581 today.
News Radio 105.5 WERC Birmingham, WERC FM Hoover, and available everywhere with the iHeartRadio app. It's 7 o'clock.
Birmingham Fire is ready for severe weather today in North Alabama. Battalion Chief Clay Hendon says it's all hands on deck this weekend.
Knowing that we kind of got a heads up on an event maybe coming, we do focus on it a little more because we actually can anticipate it, but we're ready all the time.
Off-duty firefighters are on call, and the department is keeping trucks fueled, making plans to deal with storm debris, and placing boats in key areas to deal with possible flooding. Governor Kay Ivey declares a state of emergency statewide ahead of that severe weather expected across the state today. She says it's critical for all Alabamians to stay very aware of their local weather forecasts. Alabama faces a level 5 risk, mostly for parts of central and west Alabama. The risk is a level 4 for nearly all the rest of Alabama today. A tornado watch is in effect for West Alabama until 10 a.m. FEMA warns after storms, watch out for scammers pretending to work for FEMA. Angie Norvell has the story.
They say the fakers will spoof phone numbers and try to get storm victims to answer, mistakenly believing the calls are from Federal Emergency Management Agency inspectors. They'll even go door to door and try to get you to give up private information. They'll also appear asking for money, claiming it will go to storm relief. FEMA says all inspectors with their agency carry official identification, and they will never call you to ask for personal information. I'm Angie Norvell.
The Department of Justice drops its lawsuit against the Alabama Secretary of State, Wes Allen, over a voter purge. The Friday dismissal ends a big problem. Allen's action nearly ended up disenfranchising legitimate voters before the federal lawsuit. The suit filed in September also included nonprofits, including the League of Women Voters. I'm Charlie O'Brien. And this is Birmingham's news, traffic, and weather station, News Radio 1055, WERC.
It's a First Alert Weather Day. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt keeping a close watch on the radar. Stay weather alert today. We have a risk for severe storms this morning, in the afternoon, especially in this evening. Could see some damaging winds. A significant threat for tornadoes could develop, so stay weather alert. Overnight, we'll see all this move out with lows in the 50s. Big improvements tomorrow. Sunshine returns with highs in the 60s. I'm WBRC First Alert Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt on your side.
Right now, it's 66 degrees at Birmingham's news, traffic, and weather station, News Radio 1055 WERC.
Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
And now, President Trump has paused all U.S. military aid to Ukraine.
We should be more appreciative because this country has stuck with them.
We need to stand with the Ukrainian people.
Through thick and thin.
We need more money.
We've given them
unprecedented assistance to Ukraine.
Much more than Europe, and Europe should have given more.
What President Trump is doing, a lot going on behind the scenes.
What happens next?
What might happen next?
Will happen here. News Radio 1055, WERC.
The following is a paid program. The opinions expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of WERC, management, employees, or advertisers.
He's a tough street-fighting lawyer with the highest ratings for honesty and integrity. He's here for you every Saturday morning to answer your legal questions and get you the help you need. You're listening to The Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's lawyer, Joe Ingram of Ingram Law, live from the studios of News Radio 1055 WERC. Call in now, 439-9372. That's 439-9372, and ask Joe your legal question, or email the show at questions@joeingramlaw.com. Joe Ingram has more than 20 years experience fighting for his clients here in the state of Alabama. Joe's focus is criminal defense and family law. You don't have to face your legal issue alone. You've got Joe Ingram, Birmingham's lawyer, on your side. In case of sensitive legal matters, you can always reach out directly to Joe at joeingramlaw.com and arrange for a private consultation. And now, Birmingham's defender of the defenseless, protector of the people, and all-around good guy, Joe Ingram.
All right. Saturday morning, 7:06 a.m. We're in the house. We're watching the news and the weather. We just figured out the fire on Lakeshore is on the other side going towards Bessemer. There's a lot of hardwood timberland over there, Em. That makes sense. But we've had some wet weather in February, so we couldn't be super dry. So I don't know how we have a wildfire. Interesting there. Anyway, another day, another story, another time. We're watching that. Okay, we talked about divorce the first hour, folks, and we talked about statistics, and we talked about child custody cases. I thought it was interesting. I hope you thought it was interesting. Please call us. Legal Lowdown, Joe Ingram, Birmingham's road running street lawyer here for you. I'm not going to get to run this morning, I don't think, unless I run in the rain. And you can also email us questions@joeingramlaw.com, questions@joeingramlaw.com. So we talked about divorce. Let's talk about criminal law in the news this week. Do you guys know Christopher Stewart Crittenden? Either one of y'all know him? He was in an airport and lost his cool, got in a fist fight at the Dulles International Airport. Anyway, I guess he's on the no-fly list now. I'm not on the no-fly list. I have a friend that's on the no-fly list. He has a top security clearance, but he's on the no-fly list. Go figure. Don't ask me to explain that. I will another day, another time in the story. J-Rock. You know J-Rock? Yeah, you know him. M, you know J-Rock? M's going, no, I don't know J-Rock. I don't either. Arrested for felony gun possession. Caught on camera. J-Rock. That's a federal case. If you're a convicted felon, you can't have a firearm. That'll send you to prison every time. Can't do that. P. Diddy. We have to talk about P. Diddy. He has alleged that CNN destroyed the only video from a 2016 or 2018 video from a hotel room where he allegedly he's in a towel and looks like he is got his leg in the air stomping on a person. I don't know, male, female. I'm not going to say anything. It's not a good look. Reminds me of that NFL player. We've talked about this in the past, that hit his wife or his girlfriend in the throat or in the face and then drug her down the hall. You remember that? I can't remember his name. I got to look that up. This isn't a good look. Anyway, the U.S. Attorney's Office is ready to go. They're asking for trial in May. As a defense lawyer, delay. Drag it out. You have to review the evidence. U.S. Attorney says we're ready to go. It's been over a year now, almost a year. And they want to do a questionnaire for potential jurors. You see this a lot in these type of cases. What was his name? I Can Fly Away. Robert R. Kelly. I can't even remember the name. They that case lasted 12 weeks. The jury selection in this could easily last 2 or 3 weeks. You send out a questionnaire. They want to pick 600 potential jurors because he's so well known. Here in Birmingham, Alabama, in the Northern District of Alabama, for jury selection, when we come in on Monday morning, they bring in 33 to 37 people. It's always an odd number, okay? Because you pick 12, right? And you pick 2 alternates in case 1 or 2 get sick during the trial and you have to have somebody take over. So this is so extraordinary. You're going to pick 600 people, and they're both going to have jury consultants to help pick the jury. You know what I'm talking about? Look at what you wear, what you look like. Do you appear like you're being truthful? Do you look like you're lying to get on the jury? Runaway jury. Remember we talked about that a couple weeks ago? Jury consultants, right? The gentleman that died, Hackman. In Runaway Jury, he was the jury consultant. You want to see what the jury looks like, what they wear, what they don't wear, where they work, where they live, what kind of job they have, whether their spouse works. This is what defines you as a person. 600 people we're going to send jury questionnaires. How many questions do you think are on a jury question? 120 questions? Easily. They want to know everything about you. And then they said, hey, we don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable in a courtroom during jury selection for this type of trial because it's so, a sex case. Nobody likes a sex case. Nobody likes a sex case. So we don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. We want to do individual jury selection. We'll just bring them in the courtroom so they feel comfortable. God bless you. And then, guess what they want to do? Now, they did this back in the day, during my day, during my trials, the capital murder trials. We would sequester the jury during deliberation when the jury had the case, or we would sequester the jury during a capital murder trial. They don't do that anymore. It's too expensive. Can you imagine putting 12, 14 people up in a hotel, round the clock, bell to bell? Guards have to watch them. You bring them from a bus, from a van, put them in the courthouse, house them, clothe them, feed them. They can't have any contact with their family for a week or two during a jury trial. O.J. Simpson, they had sequestered jury. You can't imagine that. 1991, 1992. Think how expensive that is. Huge, huge cost. Can't do it anymore. Only in serious high-profile cases. So they want to sequester the jury in federal court during the P. Diddy trial. Can you imagine how long this case is going to last? I think if the case starts in May, I'm going to make a bet. Bang will be gone. M may be here unless she quits. I think we go to July or August. Think about it. 4th of July week is a short week. Everybody wants to be off. They won't have trial during the 4th of July week, right? Most people take vacation in June. You take your kids to the beach in June. You want to take the family vacation in June or July, right? So you got to accommodate them. You have to accommodate your jury, right? So that's 2 weeks. So that gets us to August. Bang says November. Wow. You won't be here, but you can call in that when it's over, and we'll take a nickel bet on that. I'll bet you 2 cases of Bang that it won't be November. I may be wrong. If it does, it only cost me $24 for cotton candy. Jesus. What do you like, Em? Coffee. Black or Splenda? Okay. Hey, we're watching the weather. Interesting. Okay. But anyway, P. Diddy's got a tough defense. In federal court, the day they indict you, the U.S. attorney hands you a notebook. Well, they did back in the day when we had paper. Mr. Ingram, here's the case. And under the Speedy Trial Act, you're entitled to a jury trial in 70 days. You ready to go? No, I haven't looked at the first piece of paper. We're ready to honor that, Mr. Ingram. Judge, set this case for trial in 70 days. That's not realistic. If it's a conspiracy case, if it's a drug case, if it's a felon in possession case, you can do that in 70 days. There's not much to that, right? But if it's a drug conspiracy case where there's 19 or 20 drug players in a case, can you do that in 70 days? Absolutely not. Something to think about. And if it's a case where it involves people that have a second language, Spanish, Russian, Armenian. I had Russian, Armenian. You have to go find an interpreter to speak that language. There's only 3 people in the country in 2008 that are federally certified to speak Russian, Armenian. You have to go get those people to talk to your client. Imagine that. And if they're in custody, how do you do that? How many times can you go see your client if your client speaks another language and you have to have them to communicate with them? Judge goes, Mr. Ingram, are you ready for trial? No, sir. Why? Well, I need the interpreter to go talk to my client about the case. Why can't you do that? Well, Your Honor, there are so many people that speak Spanish, and there are fewer people that speak Italian, German, Russian, Armenian. Your Honor, there's 3. They're in Las Vegas. I'm in Birmingham. And I'm not allowed to take the cell phone in a county jail. So I don't know how we communicate. Sign language? I can't write Russian, although I did learn Russian language when I was in graduate school. Letters, vowels have different sounds, whether it has an asterisk over it or a straight line or a curve, all these different symbols. The Russian language, that's tough to learn. That's another time, another story. Something to think about there. Anyway, good stuff, good stuff. Who else is in the news this week? Kremlin. We talked about P. Diddy. We could do a whole series on P. Diddy, and we will. Guess who else is having trouble? Oh, he's just unhappy. Oh, hey, it's prom season. We've been talking about proms. 2 teens get in a fight over a prom dress. How many times do you wear the prom dress? 1 time. How much does the prom dress cost? $500. Is that cheap? And today, no, is that the going rate? Yeah. Okay. You wear it 1 time. I see prom dresses that people will put for sale on Facebook. Do you want to wear a dress somebody else has worn? I don't know. I guess if you clean it, you're okay with that. You are? You buy the prom dress? You would? Where are you going to wear it? But where are you going to wear the prom dress? To church? You're going to wear a prom dress to church. That takes me back to my day, to the silver dress that we called the baked potato girl. She's not wearing that to church. You want the church to burn down? Do you want it to come back to Jesus, where they part the temple and the columns fall apart? She's laughing now. I got M laughing. M, what are you doing? What do you see teenagers wear to church? Bang's laughing. Prom dresses. Okay. If anybody's listening out there, M wears prom dresses to church. M, where do you go to church? She's not telling. Church, I ain't say it. I'm not going to do that to you. Because Sunday, everybody's going to be saying, who is M and where does she go to church? And they're going to come check you out. And you'll be on Facebook or TikTok. The baked potato. 722. WRC Legal Lowdown, Joe Ingram. We had fun this morning for this show. This has been fun. And this is Bang's last show. See how much you're going to miss. You regret it now, don't you? You said, no, I wanted out of here. I wanted to get out of here so bad. Em doesn't want to be here. Do you? Y'all, she's smiling. Do you want to be here? You do? Em moved upstairs. Oh, I can't say that. Em lives in Alabama. Is that fair? She flies in for the show. But I can't pay for that. iHeartRadio pays for that. Oh, I have to make a joke. Don't get mad. What does WERC stand for? Whatever radio contract says. Never believe your contract. It's a joke. That goes back to the days of David Letterman, NBC. You know who David Letterman is? He wanted the Johnny Carson show. You don't know who Johnny Carson is. Yeah. NBC, never believe your contract. They promised him the Johnny Carson show. He didn't get it. That's all he lived for, is the Johnny Carson show, the Tonight Show. And then he left NBC and went to CBS. And then he had a fight with Jay Leno, the night wars for the night shows for 15, 18 years. David Letterman and Jay Leno used to be best friends. And then the fight over the Tonight Show is what broke them up. But they're both super rich. David Letterman was making $18 to $25 million a year doing the David Letterman show. Oh, did you know who developed? You know what the name of his corporation is, don't you? Wide Pants. He developed the Ray Romano show. Do you know he owns the Ray Romano show? You didn't know that, did you? David Letterman is super wealthy. He lives out in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, or Colorado. He has this huge farm, plantation. Anyway, neither one of you knew that. Y'all hadn't watched Ray Romano either, have you? I love Ray Romano. Sort of like my house, except we don't have children. It's kind of like that. And we don't have parents either. It's just me, the wife, and the dogs. Anyway, go figure. Prom dress season. Yeah. We went to dinner the other night, last weekend, and they were starting to come out in prom dresses. And if you're wearing that to church, you're going to split the temple. You're going to split the church. Fire and brimstone for you. Old Testament. She says, I believe I'm forgiven. I'm a sinner. Don't you? Em, I hope you make it to heaven. But you got a little time. Can Em go to heaven? Huh? Can Em go to heaven? My mother said, there is no way you're going to heaven, Joe, because of what you do. She said, there is no way St. Peter at the elevator on the gates is letting you in the pearly gates of heaven. No, Joe, go away. Come back. You go to purgatory for a while and come back. And then we'll see. Go do purgatory. We'll come back. We'll talk about it. St. Peter's not letting you in the pearly gates. Another day, another story. I guess if I take a ball of Bang with cotton candy in it, that might get me into heaven. Sweeten it up. Hey, here's some cotton candy for the cloud. Will I get wings? I don't know. Did you know when you go to heaven, there are people that sit on a cloud with wings, and then there are worker bees in heaven? Have you heard that? I wouldn't mind being a worker bee in heaven if I get there. But I plan to be there. Plan to. Never know. May get shot when I leave here this morning. I got somebody stalking me right now. That's another story. 7:27. Nobody's called in this morning. Is anybody listening out there? Is everybody watching the weather worried about whether we're going to get blown away today? It's 7:27 on the south side. Bang and Emmett are in the house. This is a Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram. 205-439-9372, 205-439-WERC. Questions at joeingramlaw.com, questions at joeingramlaw.com. You can look us up on the web, or you can call the office, 205-506-5590. If you get a divorce and you've been married any length of time, I've had a few of these cases. People that have businesses, multiple businesses. We're going to break already? M's like, yeah, Joe, shut up. Man, this is going by fast. We're going to go to 3 hours. Redoing the contract. Just kidding. Just kidding, iHeart. Just kidding. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about what you need to get together for your divorce. If you have businesses in a divorce case, you need to know this. This is good information, folks. This is important. We'll be back after news and weather. We're watching the wildfire on Lakeshore Drive. We'll be back after news and weather. Thanks. Bye.
You're listening to The Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's lawyer, Joe Ingram. If you need confidential legal help off air, reach out to Joe at joeingramlaw.com. Stay tuned for more. Joe will be right back after this break for news and weather on News Radio 105.5 WERC.
A series of events.
The most important events.
Make for eventful days.
Day by day, what these tariffs are going to mean.
How the market is reacting right now.
The events in Ukraine.
More action by Doge.
Found wasted taxpayer money.
In these eventful times.
These are tough and serious times.
It's time.
The times are changing
so fast.
In any event.
In real time.
Important events.
Check in.
Your version of events.
Information.
News Radio 105.5 WERC.
Birmingham Fire is ready for severe weather today in North Alabama. Battalion Chief Clay Hendon says it's all hands on deck this weekend.
Knowing that we kind of got a heads up on an event maybe coming, we do focus on it a little more because we actually can anticipate it, but we're ready all the time.
Off-duty firefighters are on call, and the department is keeping trucks fueled, making plans to deal with storm debris, and placing boats in key areas to deal with possible flooding. Governor Kay Ivey declares a state of emergency statewide ahead of that severe weather expected across the state today. She says it's critical for all Alabamians to stay very aware of their local weather forecasts. Alabama faces a level 5 risk, mostly for parts of central and west Alabama. The risk is a level 4 for nearly all the rest of Alabama today. I'm Charlie O'Brien, and this is Birmingham's news, traffic, and weather station, News Radio 105.5 WERC.
It's a First Alert Weather Day. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt keeping a close watch on the radar. Stay weather alert today. We have a risk for severe storms this morning, in the afternoon, especially in this evening. Could see some damaging winds. A significant threat for tornadoes could develop, so stay weather alert. Overnight, we'll see all this move out with lows in the 50s. Big improvements tomorrow. Sunshine returns with highs in the 60s. I'm WBRC First Alert Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt on your side.
Right now, it's 66 degrees at Birmingham's news, traffic, and weather station. News Radio 105.5 WERC.
News Radio 105.5 WERC. Make us the #1 preset on your car radio and on the free new and improved iHeart Radio app. Listen for all your music radio and podcasts. Free never sounded so good.
You're listening to The Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's lawyer, Joe Ingram. Joe is a 20-year veteran of the Alabama courts, specializing in criminal defense and family law. Call in live with your questions now at 439-9372. That's 439-9372. Or write Joe with your question for the show at questions@joeingramlaw.com. If you need a private legal consultation, email Joe at joeingramlaw.com. Now, welcome back to The Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram.
We're back. We're back at 7:34. WERC. This is Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram, Birmingham's road-running street lawyer here for you. We've had a good time this morning. We've talked about divorce statistics. We've talked about custody cases, what you need to do in a custody cases, what you shouldn't do in a custody case. We've talked about some criminal cases in the news. We've talked about P. Diddy. We've talked about a divorce case where you've tried to kill your spouse. I've seen that personally. I have those cases personally. We've talked about prom dresses. We've talked about what you should wear to church, what you shouldn't wear to church. You going to church tomorrow? No. You're going to go to church tomorrow because you're going to get down on your knees and say, "Dear Jesus, I apologize for everything I did. I confess at the cross. Let me in." Good stuff. You can't make this up. This may be the best show we've done in 12 weeks. No. Have we done 12? December, January, February. That's 12 weeks. But we missed 2 weeks. Anyway. See what you're in for? She's like, thumbs up. You want to be here? No, you don't. Got nothing else to do. Because she gets flown in for the show by iHeartRadio. You can listen to my podcast, The Legal Lowdown. Please share it with your friends and family, everybody. Share it with somebody. Share it with your enemies. You don't have any. You have any friends? You have lots. Do you share it? You haven't shared it with anybody, have you? You have? Do they listen? Do they? Oh, you said you had a family member that listened. Huh? I'm not saying the name. Do they like it? Do they really? You making this up? I'm not having a gun to your head right here. Okay, I swear. Don't swear. You're not on. Don't swear. You have some issues tomorrow. You've got some work to do. You got to go Old Testament tomorrow, not New Testament. Old Testament, fire and brimstone for you. She's sitting there looking at me going, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Just pray. Tomorrow when you go to church, you're going to wear a white dress from your shoulder to your ankles and white tennis shoes. You're going to have your hair down, no makeup, no earrings, no rings, no watch, no cell phone. You're going to walk in with your Bible. You're going to go down to the church, to the front. You're going to get down on your hands and knees, say, "Dear Jesus, forgive me for being with the crazy man yesterday and what he did to me. Why did he do this? And I'm sorry, Jesus. I'm going to get off the show immediately." Aren't you? Release me. Are you getting out Monday? I bet you're not here next Saturday. You think? Because you have to be. Yeah, that's all right. Okay, I got it. Are the wildfires still going on? They hadn't told us. Anyway. Another day, another time, another story. Okay. In a divorce case where there are businesses, and I mean family-owned businesses, construction companies, doctors, lawyers, pharmacists. Pharmacies are big. Dentists. You could be a dentist. Your spouse could be the dental hygienist or the office manager, right? Construction companies are huge, huge. General contractor, you're a developer, right? You're married for 10 or plus years. This is what happens, generally speaking. One spouse runs the business. They're the rainmaker. They go out and bid the jobs. They make the money. They do all these things. And the other spouse runs the business, meaning the financials, the employees, the bookkeeping. Does that make sense? All right. I'm not talking down to you. I'm not being condescending. I'm explaining things. Here's what happens. I get so busy running the business that I forget about the business, the financials, the money. Where is the money? Where is all the money? What is my spouse doing with the money? I have those cases. I have several right now. They may own real estate, lots of real estate. They may own a construction company. So here's what you got to get together before you come see me. First, you get an investigator. You get Spy for Rent. You get Corey and Jeff to do a deep dive on your spouse. Second, you better go get all the corporate returns from the Secretary of State. Who owns what percent of the businesses? They're either a PC, professional corporation. They're either an LLC, limited liability corporation, or they're a C Corp or an S Corp. S Corp is just a way to file taxes, to play a game between what your income is, what your distribution is for taxes. Okay? So the first thing you need to do is go get an investigator, Spy for Rent, Jeff and Corey. Second thing you do, you better go get the returns from the Secretary of State on the businesses. 3, at least 10 years of tax returns. 10. You better go get 5 years of bank statements. Here's why. Banks only keep bank statements for 5 years now. I would go get check registers. Your generation doesn't use check registers, or do you? You don't even know what a check register is. See? you don't even, do you write checks? Oh, you do? Okay, good. Most people don't write checks anymore. Everybody just uses a debit card. Be careful with debit cards. People that work in fast food industries, they get those cards immediately and they sell the numbers. There's huge scams out there with that. You better start checking your checking account. Well, they won't take a check at McDonald's. Anyway, you need your tax returns. You need your bank statements. You need to go get your 401k, your IRA information. And you're going to say, well, Joe, I should have this. Well, not in one case. One person let their spouse do everything. She cashed in his IRA, his 401k. Next, life insurance. When you're young, buy term life insurance. It's cheap. As young as you are, and I don't know your age, and I don't care because you're not supposed to ask a woman their age. You're never supposed to do that, except for fire and brimstone for you, young lady. Go get term life insurance. Buy $1 million. Be $20 a month. And you're going to say, why do I need that? Nobody plans to be in a car wreck. Nobody plans to die. But your friends and family may need it if you die, and they'd like to have it if you're dead. And him, the way you've acting, Oh, M's going, praise God. Let me get out of here. Joe's being a preacher today. And I'm not a preacher. Tim's not coming back. Bang be here next Saturday. M's quitting Monday. M is leaving iHeartRadio Monday. What you want to bet? I bet it's a bet. I bet a win. 0? Okay. She won't even speak. M's just like, I'm not talking to him. I'm afraid of him. Okay, where am I? Okay. Insurance policies. Go get your insurance policy. Make sure your wife hasn't taken out a $2 million life insurance policy on you. M, that means she's coming to kill you. Like we just talked about. I didn't know she had a $2 million life insurance policy. Emma's just shaking her head. And then you need to sit down and do a budget. What is your family budget? What does it cost to run your house? Your house payment, power bill, phone bill, gas bill. And when I say gas, I mean house gas. Some people use natural gas. Some use propane gas if you live further out. Everyone should be on budget billing. That way you don't have heat stroke in the summer or the winter. M, you have budget billing? You don't? You're all electric? You are? Okay, so you just have power. Budget billing. So when you have to run the air in the summer, you have a running utility bill. You don't get sticker shock. Yeah. She's going, oh, yeah, I did that. Yeah. See how much you learn here today? Budget billing for all your utilities. That way you don't get sticker shock. For me, the water company, Birmingham Water, M, do you know how much my water bill is in the summer? $500. You have to water the yard. You have to water the plants. It keeps a lot to keep it alive here in Alabama because we live in Arizona. We live in Tombstone. It's 120 degrees outside. There's a lot of bad. You have to keep the grass green. You have to keep the hydrangeas, the rose bushes for the deer to eat. Oh, and by the way, in my neighborhood, there were 15 deer in my front yard last night. Honest to goodness. But it takes a lot of money to keep the yard watered in the summer here in Alabama. So Birmingham Water will be happy because my water bill's about to go up. So go do your budget. Most people have YouTube now. You have cell phone bill, you have gas bill, and then you either have extracurricular activities for the children or the kiddies, and you have daycare or after-school care for the children. And then you need a budget of what it costs to raise your family. And here's another thing. If you get a divorce, when you split up, it costs more for two people to live than when you live together. It's just a fact of life. Something to think about. So when you do all that, then you're ready to come see your lawyer about a divorce case when there's real assets. You may have a motorhome, boat, sea-doo, golf carts, lake house, beach house, both. You may have multiple rental properties. You may own commercial property. You need to get all this together so when you walk in, you're prepared to talk to the divorce lawyer at that time. It's kind of like when you do your taxes in. You don't go to your CPA with a box and say, here are my taxes, figure this out. Your CPA says, okay, I'll do this. It's going to cost you about $15,000 for me to do your taxes. But if you've been prepared all year and given me a QuickBooks sheet where I just plug in the information, you're good to go. My brother-in-law is my CPA. Joe, you know what to do. I give him 12 pieces of paper. He can do it in an hour. He still charges me a mint. My brother-in-law, go figure. That's how much your family loves you. I'm going to tattoo Joe for his tax bill. I'm kidding. It's a joke. He charges me $400 because he's nice. Anyway, that's things to think about when you get ready to go hire a divorce lawyer. Spy for rent, spy for rent, spy for rent. Jeff and Corey got you covered all over the state of Alabama. 7:48. No one's called today. I hope someone's listening today. This has been a lot of fun today. M is not happy today. M's going to leave the show, and she's going to go home and pray. And then she's going to call iHeart tomorrow and say, I quit. Get me out of here with the crazy man. I give you so much grief. See what you're going to get used to for the next year. Huh? And you're not even going to talk back. She says, what? I don't want to talk back to you. Okay. M tomorrow in a white dress, white shoes, no makeup, no jewelry, no earrings, no watch, no phone, and a Bible at the cross, at the foot of the cross. I can go get some holy water and we can rebaptize you if you'd like to do that after the show. Tomorrow. Do they do that at your church? Yeah. Okay, take shelter today. Call the preacher. Say, can I be rebaptized tomorrow? Because I have sinned on air and I'm concerned. And I hope there's time for me. Will M get to heaven? Probably. Huh? That's the goal. If you don't know. M, I don't think you've done anything wrong in life, have you? You ever had a speeding ticket? No. You ever had a traffic ticket? Not one. You've never done anything wrong, have you? Not one thing? No, nothing. Prom dress. Did you go to your prom? Oh, you did. What color was your dress? Do you remember? It was white. Yeah. I want to see that dress to believe it. I believe it was silver, like tinfoil, like baked potato. Microwave. Yeah. I'm getting text messages from my wife. She says, stop on M. She said, stop. M says, thank you. Please stop. M's not coming back next Saturday. I'm going to try to make you quit by Monday. I'm on the right track. Bang's not available. Who would show up next Saturday? He's going her. She's going him. Who else would show up? Nobody would show up. No, he wouldn't show up. No, he wouldn't. Do it by myself. Anyway. Hey, it's 7:52, Bang. We've enjoyed the show. This is your final show, Bang. I'm going to miss you. It's been fun. It's 7:52. This has been Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram. We had good information this morning on divorce, statistics, child custody, what you do, what you shouldn't do. We've talked about Ray's calling in. Ray on the line. Ray, you with us?
Hey.
Hey, Ray.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, Ray?
Hello. How are you doing?
Ray, we got 8 minutes. You better talk fast, sir.
Okay, I will. It's not a big question. So several years ago, I was working at a manufacturing facility, and our safety manager and I became kind of friends, and he asked me if I could help him, and he thought his wife was seeing someone else. So it ended up he wanted me to come hook up a phone tap. This is back in the 90s, I'm sorry. So you could still go to Radio Shack, and buy the little device to your phone. And so we did that. And of course, he called her. I was wondering, in that situation, you guys fight for rent and all that. But what is did I stand a chance of getting in any situation legally for doing that for him?
If it's in the 90s.
And did he?
Well, I am quite confident the statute of limitations has run on you. You're good.
Okay.
There are some rules and regulations now about putting devices on your girlfriends, boyfriends, husband, wives, tracking them. You might want to go look up those. I don't give legal advice over the phone on the Rive Radio. Can't do that. I'd go look that up, check it out. Or wiretapping their cell phone, by the way. But I think you're good. You're not.
Yeah,
you're going to heaven.
This was a landline.
He may not go to heaven, but you're going to heaven.
So I'm going to ask forgiveness tomorrow. Again.
You and hey, where do you go to church, Ray?
I go to church in Birmingham.
It's like you, Em. He's like, I'm not giving it out. Em goes to church in Alabama. I can hook you up with Em. Maybe y'all can go together and get down at the foot of the cross and ask for forgiveness and say, can we get to heaven?
Yes,
or
sir.
Or y'all can go do holy water. We're doing a revival show this morning. I didn't know we were doing religion.
Yeah, well, I didn't mean to, but I just, over the years, I've thought about it and just.
You're forgiven.
Thank you.
Go for it and sin no more. You're forgiven.
All right. Thank you.
Ray, you're good.
Well, another question for next week's show.
What, Ray, call in next week. What you want to talk about next week?
We're probably going to talk about some childhood issues that I probably went through.
Like what, Ray?
Look, I was a man of the world. I did about everything that was out there that was popular,
Ray, what age bracket are you?
I am 67 years old now.
Okay, you got me by 14 years. Did you grow up in Birmingham?
No, I grew up down in the southeast corner of Alabama, down around Dothan.
Ray, do you listen to the show?
Every day, every Saturday, yes, sir.
Praise God. Ray, call in next Saturday. We got to wrap this up. They're telling me we're done. They're going to fire me by next week, and Em's going to go to heaven tomorrow, hopefully, at the foot of the cross, and she's quitting Monday. Ray, call in next week, and we'll talk about your sins, and we'll get you some holy water, okay?
Okay, Joe. Thank you.
All right, Ray. Good luck. I'm going to get fired Monday. Man, I'm done. Are we over? Don't do that. How can you do that? It's been a delightful 2 hours this morning. I'm fired. Em's quit. Bang's leaving for good. Some of us are going to heaven. Some of us may be going down south. Some are going to purgatory. Legal Lowdown, Joe Ingram, 757 on the South Side. I hope to be back next week. Have a good week. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's own Joe Ingram of Ingram Law. Don't forget to follow Joe's Legal Lowdown podcast on iHeart. If you need a private legal consultation, reach out to Joe on his website, joeingramlaw.com. Tune in again next Saturday at 6 a.m. for the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram, exclusively on News Radio 105.5 WERC.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by any other lawyer.
The proceeding has been a paid program. The opinions expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of